And 92.9 Real Country WAME.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their racing roots. Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts.
Now here's our host, David Hamm.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm, right here on 550 AM, 92.9 FM, and DHamm I am on YouTube. I'm also streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn, and all that good stuff. So y'all join us over there, or whatever your preference is. All right, so yes, and TikTok eventually.
How many more
So
things you got?
that's the big thing now. Yeah, that's why. I know, man. That's why I'm over here like frantically doing all this stuff, because I had
I
like
like watching somebody else work.
Yes.
Okay.
I had 30 minutes to get set up. I mean, it's just like wham, bam, cameras. I got 5 cameras and
He did it solo today.
2 computers and such.
30 minutes is not good enough time to get ready for the race.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, man. Well, you know that. We're talking to Rick Pennington here, and you know how it is when you get to the race, and it's like we got to get there super early, and then when the fans start showing up, that's when you're like, oh gosh, I'm tired, and I still got to do pit stops, right? That's pretty much it.
Oh, that's how it is. You get there at dark 30 and
Yeah.
you're standing there with the cattle call, 45 minutes early, waiting, just.
Especially the Jackman, that's the hardest position, I think. I mean, it's the toughest.
Well, of course.
You're biased.
We're the quarterbacks.
That's it. The quarterback, exactly. Yeah, so we're like fellow Jackman, and if I'm not mistaken, Jeff did that too. All right.
Yes, I have done that at a few special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
I was a rear tire changer most of the time, but obviously at some point in time we've done about all the positions throughout our careers, and I have been able to jack at the Talladega Super Speedway we just raced at, and like I've told Phil the last 2 times I've been on here, the coolest thing I had on was my sunglasses, and he finally got to see the picture this week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if you don't recognize that voice, that's the infamous Jeff Lemons. Also, what is it?
Big Red Traveling Barbecue Show.
That's right, yes. Big Red. And we got Phil Cavali over here to my left. I'm working on the field cam. It's aimed a little bit low. Oh, yeah, it's aimed down just a little bit.
I can't hear nothing. I was
We
trying
only
to
see your
give
feet.
Jeff some promo there.
Oh, there you go. I'll turn you off. There we go. How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
Pimp him out there. We don't
yeah.
see
All
my
right.
sleepy face.
And Phil Cavali is also known as Photo Phil. How many years in taking pictures at NASCAR racetracks?
Since the 1900s.
Yes.
34 years. now.
34 years. All right.
Taking its
I
toll.
think everybody sitting at this table's been at a racetrack in the 1900s. I mean,
Yeah, we've all got
we're getting
about
ready to
30 years
start,
in. Yeah.
We're getting ready to start in 2022, and they're getting ready to start rebuilding pickup trucks and stuff that's going on with Ford and Chevrolet because they finally got a chip. And I've been watching races from '82 and 88, and it's like the commercials that you saw and all that kind of stuff from what we have done over these years. That's a major thing right now.
And
I
they
mean, it's
just had that next gen car test the last 2 days here at Charlotte. I heard the cars really sound real thunder gurgly. You know what I mean?
Right.
You hear that exhaust coming out both sides now.
Well, we've had a lot of days with like David Hamm making us horsepower that we had to chassis dyno tailpipes, and guys like me that were the underneath guy that had to take them hot things off and put them on and go, oh my God, let's try this.
Yes. Sorry about that.
Yeah, nope, didn't work. Put it back.
Hey, sorry about that, but you're welcome for the wins. How's that? Something like that. And do you want to introduce my wife over here? She's to your left.
Traci.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a beautiful Traci Hamm right here.
And
she's watching us on the phone through
been
Facebook and doing everything. And
yeah.
And who's that fine-looking gentleman next to her? Can we peek in on him?
Hey, it's her brother.
That's David's son. No, last week we had David's son. This week we're pleasured by David's father being here.
That's right, Mr. Carl Hamm.
Carl Hamm.
Carl Hamm Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a truck driver, so he actually used to ride down the road and run into some, well, not literally run into, but Henry Benfield would come up barreling on his tail. Dad, do you remember old Henry Benfield?
He'd pick on me, yeah.
Is that right?
Mike
Picked
over
on you. Yeah, he picked on him.
Yep.
Tell him a story about Henry Benfield right quick, if you would.
Oh boy.
You remember?
Really, no.
Yep. So I need to get Henry in here sometime and let him. Remember his handle?
No.
It was
I don't even remember it.
piccolo player.
Piccolo player.
Yeah.
Henry would be a good character for this show.
Oh,
Oh,
Carrie.
yeah.
Oh,
He'd be
yes,
good.
for sure.
He'd love to do it. I know Henry very well.
He would. I know he would.
I remember driving the Trans Am hauler one year, and all of a sudden, here come this set of lights. Oh, there goes Benfield. Like that.
Yeah.
I see you out the next track.
Yes. And if he got pulled over, what do you think Henry would be handing out or whatever if he ever got pulled over?
Hats.
Yeah, that's what
Beer.
Swites was good at too, in beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so very good. And I got a text earlier from Marty Houston.
My man Marty.
Yeah. He said Slick Rick.
That's right.
So I said, why don't you do a call in tonight? He said he had something going on with the church. So he's tied up.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Marty, great guy. Loved working with him at Ultra Motorsports on Leffler's truck and everything there, and had a good time there.
He said something about any stories that you tell about Ultra are not true or something like that. Yeah.
Well, you have to take the pen and deflate the bubbles, and then, when it all comes down to it, it's all good.
Now wait a minute. I just heard that last week. Somebody said that. Somebody commented on our video. Was that you that said that?
No, I don't believe
Okay,
so.
about the pen and the bubbles. And I didn't get it. Maybe it's a inside joke. Anyway, that was good. All right, there goes our station, fire station number 1 here.
No, that's because
Army.
we have Jeff's barbecue sauce in here. Big
hot
red,
in
sweet
here.
and sassy. It keeps causing these fires outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us your story, Rick, because you haven't been on the show yet, and I know Jeff's been in here several times, so he's not.
Yeah,
gonna
where are
talk.
you from?
I'm actually from Oakland, California.
Oakland.
Oakland,
Wow.
California.
Go Raiders.
Yeah, that's right. Raiders.
Did you
Even though
have
they're in
like
Vegas? It's like, well,
So what NASCAR? What drew you to NASCAR as a young boy?
Started off my career road racing and stuff, and worked for Tom Glory Racing out there at Sears Point for about. Well, we were there for about 7 or 8 years, and then Tom said, "You know what? We're going to go NASCAR racing." So we bought a truck, and he said, "Anybody wants to move to North Carolina, I'll pay for it." So Tom hooked everybody up, and he, sent all the wives out about a month early, and so we had a place to get, we had a place to go
That's
into when we
awesome.
got there. So, great guy. Yeah. So we were out there for 3 years, and then lost sponsorship, so the team just kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
What influenced you and interested you as a young boy in racing? Were you
Well, I've always
athlete
had
or-
automotive background and stuff. My dad, basically, I was born and raised in an auto parts store. My mom picked me up from school, and I'd go down there and play ping pong and stuff with everybody, and they would go out for deliveries. And for a couple of years, when he got sick of it and got a dump truck, did that for 2 years, and went nope, and bought his own auto parts store. So basically, I was in auto parts my whole life.
And nobody delivered auto parts quicker than you.
Well, back then I didn't even have my bicycle yet. So.
Wow.
But so then from that, I actually got a job at an engine shop when I was 15. So I would literally ride my bike to the engine shop, and then worked there at Sturt's Machine. We built a lot of great motors in Oakland. All my high school friends, everything. Everybody had a Sturt's motor. It was awesome.
Yeah, was NASCAR big? I mean, I don't know what year you graduated.
Yeah,
but
I graduated in '88.
Okay.
From Skyline High School, and I was going to be a fireman, so I was taking those classes, and then it just didn't work out, and I was too far involved in engine building and racing, and then it just took that step, and it paid off.
Did you ever go out to Riverside and see a race?
No, Riverside wasn't there. They had I think it's a car lot and some other stuff. It's just a big, strip mall.
Because Oakland doesn't seem like a NASCAR-rich environment.
Like I said, NASCAR really wasn't out there, but then it was all road course stuff. And then when we got the truck deal, they had truck races on speed. And my dad was actually like one of the people in Oakland, first time they got speed, so he was like, he got a petition together, the whole deal, and he's like, I want to see my son on TV. So it was pretty cool.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah. Cool. So, and then from the truck deal, and then moved out to North Carolina, and then.
Yeah. So after that deal dissolved, how would you go to that?
Oh, I went to Ultra. After that.
What year was that?
That was in end of '99, 2000, and That's a year the trucks ran in Daytona, and we won that race with Mike Wallace.
Yep.
So we got a ring for that race. That was good.
Yeah, I remember that. I was there.
Yeah, that truck was pretty badass.
Yeah. So after that, how long were you with Ultra?
So I was at Ultra for 4 or 5 years, and pit coach Lance Monksgaard there. That's actually when Big Ed Watkins blew his knees out up at Evererham's. And Greg Miller called Lance Monksgaard and said, hey, you know anybody? And he's like, dude, get your jack and go. And I went up and did a tryout, and it's funny because being left-handed, I got out of the truck with my jack, and Greg goes, oh, left-handed? Well, and I went, you're not even going to give me a shot? And that was Jeremy Mayfield's Jackman after that. Wow. So, got to replace Big Ed, and that was a great, cool deal.
Yeah, this gentleman's known as the left-handed Nascar Jackman.
That's exactly it.
And now, is there a fundamental difference, a huge, like what anybody would realize that makes it more difficult? We as laymen wouldn't know. What is the difference?
Between left-handed and right-handed? Okay, I'll answer that question just like I told the guy at the New Hampshire Journal.
Okay.
I don't know if right-handed is better or not. I've never jacked right-handed.
But I mean,
I honestly can't tell you.
Were they apprehensive to hire you because of left? Because it would seem to me, if you brought it around,
they were definitely apprehensive. You had to worry about working with the front carrier. And Jason Gay and I, we worked it out, and we kicked ass.
Good.
We switched over from Jeremy's. They did the whole swap from Jeremy to Casey, and then I was part of that deal. And then I was jacking Casey's car and stuff. So
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. A lot of wins, a lot of poles.
Were you part of Casey's double win in Charlotte back then?
Right here, baby.
Yeah,
right here.
Yeah. He's the last
All-Star and then 600.
Yep.
I've actually got an All-Star car model, and when I changed my shoes that night, I still had some of the plastic stars that were coming out of and so I put them with my model. The model and had Casey sign it and everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I worked with Winston Cup Scene and Illustrated years ago, and the last race Illustrated was going to be publishing at Homestead. We have, and the photographers have a strip with the name of the publication in Victory Lane.
Right.
And everybody had left, and I went back and got the NASCAR Illustrated strip
that's cool.
and tore it up. And I did the same thing, just took the sticker and plotted it on all those stars, black and gold,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's got black and gold, and then the next week it got the red, white, and blue ones.
So what year was that? You remember?
That was 7.
Okay.
It was the first year of the COT deal, but
yeah.
Casey dominated that.
Yeah, that's actually I was catch cannon then.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I switched over from jacking to catch cannon and stuff. So.
Okay. Did you hurt your back or something? That's usually what happens.
No, we lost the front tire changer, and they brought a combo in, but. Being tall and everything, and fabricator, I was like, okay, what do I need for a wedge wrench that's going to just...
Oh, I got you.
And so I came up with my own style wedge wrench where I was like, I could literally reach up without even looking and drop it right in the hole. They were doing double adjustments with holding the can and everything. It was like, it's pretty cool. Those are the good highlights.
So I quit going to the track. Well, I quit going to the track about the time, I think maybe the next year for the All-Star races when they started having the crews come out on stage and introduce them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you were part of the whole ride in the pickup deal?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. That actually started, I think, maybe the year after I got off the road. And I was busy working pretty much, and
we got in there with Jeremy Mayfield and and Tank Probus, my buddy gas man. Yeah, we were up there. We had that thing hitting the springs, and all the way around the track. Man, the crowd was just like, "Woo!" It was pretty awesome.
Yes. See, back whenever I went from '95 to 2001, but it was like it seems like you had a lot less people going to the track, and you had to do more than just. If you're the Jackman, you're also working on a car, or you're doing all this other stuff.
Yeah, it became, like I said, being from Truck Series and Trans Am, you only had 3 people per car, so it's like, okay, you kind of divide the car up into 3 sections. Yeah. On the Cup deal, it's like you got your pit crew and the mechanics. They don't want you touching the car. Like, no, that's pit crew guy. No.
So, okay.
So it really took a separation there.
Yeah.
And and me being a mechanic, it's like some guys like to go sit and do autographs. I came back to the garage. I'm like, y'all need a hand. Like,
Oh I know. I remember being out there for the All-Star race one night, and it was like everybody else was out there pushing. I had to get the toolbox from the garage and get it to pit road.
That's the most fun job ever.
And I'm like, where's everybody at? They're out there pushing the car on pit road. I'm like, it does not take 10 people to push that car. Because all the lights were on the cameras.
Especially like speedway car, you just one-handed.
That car's made to roll on its own.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's prestige.
Not like pushing a Martinsville car, that's for sure.
It's image and prestige to push the car, not the cart. It weighs what, 2,500 pounds?
Oh yeah, I mean it
or
was
more.
Yeah.
Uphill and through the
Exactly.
roughness, and then when
Around the
you're stuck by
fans.
yourself, like you're like, where's my buddies at? You know, and
that's
they're out
it.
there.
Nobody to clear the way, and you're going.
Yeah, they're sitting on pit wall
You're trying
signing
to stop,
autographs.
you
You
can't.
know,
yeah, exactly.
That's what happens is a fan will step when you
yeah.
got your momentum going uphill. Fan cuts in front of you.
Oh yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, bud, you're gonna lose an ankle or something.
So I have a Jackman question for you.
Okay.
What track did you feel like the left side was the heaviest?
Martinsville.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it seems like to me too.
It's so, I mean, you, every time you come around and plant, it's always like, oh my God, I hope the thing goes under there because the tires, you know. Literally, you know, it's
Yeah.
5 times out of 10, it's a gamble. Sometimes it's like, here we go. Like,
Is that because of the weight they put on the left side to hold the car on the flat track?
The Martinsville, like I said, the tires are so soft and they're so low. You know, like when you literally drop the jack in Martinsville, the car bottoms out on the jack, and you have to make sure you really pull it out. Yeah. Otherwise, you see them going down pit lane, and the pit lane is on a little bit of an angle.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because when I met you earlier, you shook my hand. I thought you had a vice under your skin.
Well, like I said, I've been a fabricator for a long time, a lot of tin snips.
Well, and the other thing too, they got the different spring setups and stuff. I'm sure Jeff can expound on that.
Yep. Well, like I said, I was under the rear truck guy and under the rear car guy too. So you know the gears and the hot exhaust, like hey, well, you want to start?
Oh, for sure. Did you ever? So you didn't have to jack without a fire suit ever, right?
In the truck series, yeah.
Oh, in the truck series, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know one of the things I used to do was get burned right across my forearm here,
Come
right
reaching
about
for the
here,
tire.
from grabbing the tire and then throwing it back.
Yeah.
And I always get that singe right across my arm. And
So I have a question.
yes.
Did you ever miss your stop?
Oh yeah.
Oh, missed the stop. Yeah.
Yes.
I did that one time.
Hey, you know what? Drivers misses pit too. So
That's
That's
right.
true.
Tell your story. You missed your stop.
Missing
Which
your
one?
stop.
All right, if y'all don't know what we're talking about, because we've got
yeah.
people on the radio listening too, is there's a jack stop that you mark with a piece of tape, and that's what it welded right to the chassis, and that's a solid point. That's a balance point.
A jack, and then you get the car up with that, and hopefully, normally 9 times out of 10, it's pump Martinsville like 2.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
But definitely the heaviest at Martinsville. But it was Martinsville when I missed a stop and come around and just, like I said, it was so low, and it's a gamble half the time anyway. So I was like, here we go, And it was even using a flat tire jack too. So did all I could do. It was like, well.
See the flat tire jack. We had one of those, but it was just a cut down, or it was a slimmer jack, and then we had a bar if that didn't work.
Yeah.
Because I missed. Let's see, one time. No, I didn't cut the stop one time at North Wilkesboro. And I know everybody's tired of hearing this story, but it was at North Wilkesboro, and I did not cut the stop. So I went around to the left side, and the jack would not go under. So I was like, put my head, it won't go up or whatever on TV, And I'm
first
like,
thing you do is like,
that's before you had to bolt on adjustable height of the stops.
Right.
That's when there was a steel piece there, and that was. That's what you had. You didn't come out race day and change the height of the stop with this nice machine aluminum piece that they use today.
No.
So you knew where the chassis setup was, and
it was a luxury to have them. It's a luxury to have them invite you to the pit. Hey, you want to check the chains?
Right. Yes.
Like what?
Oh,
like really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and some tracks you could, and then you get out I would get out the Sawzall and go and cut the stop from then on.
Right.
I always did.
It looked kind of like a piece of roll cage or something, just a pipe.
Right.
Yeah,
In the old days.
Usually just 1-inch piece of tube that was kind of bent down off the frame rail of the bar to come down. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back from commercial, we've got some questions that have come in on YouTube.
All right, so we're going to go to a commercial break right quick.
You know how 4 men shut right up when a woman spoke?
Hey, right. We learned that.
He's on a schedule.
All right, and of course I had to grab my glasses. All right, we'll be right back to Racing Roots with Ham. Stay tuned.
Overwhelming cravings for 45 sauce or a Big Dipper? Need a huge salad for lunch and dinner? Don't worry, Groucho's is here to help. Order online, not in line. Download the Groucho's Deli mobile app right now, and you're a step closer to great sandwiches and salads for lunch or for dinner. Feed the whole family tonight. Go online to Grouchos.com or get the app and let Groucho's do the rest. Support local and stay safe. Get the Groucho's app, get your 45 sauce, and just smile.
Hey, looky there's Ryan Scott over here at the Ford store. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. Hey, Ryan.
I tell you, Billy Buck, everybody is looking for a deal, and the Ford store has a deal. Let me tell you about it. 2020 Ford Fusion. I bought over 50 of these, and I've got them on the lot. They are marked to sell at $16,990. $16,990, nearly new. You picked a color. 2020 Ford Fusion. Come see us today. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln, I-77, exit 49B. And as I say, look for the spinning car because, folks, that is where the deals are.
Between our employees for accounts or whatever, and because of that, then we don't have a lot of the issues that some banks have with people doing things they probably shouldn't do just to make a sale.
Blue Harbor Bank with locations in Statesville, Mooresville, and Huntersville. Member FDIC.
Real Country 550 and 92.9 WAME.
All right, we're back to Racing Roots with Hamm, and tonight's guest is Rick Pennington. And Jeff Lemons has joined him as well from Big Red's Barbecue. And, hey, while we're at it, why don't we go ahead and mention Jersey Cape Yachts and also Great RV Life. Let's start with Great RV Life.
And do it in your deep, sexy voice, I was told.
I didn't
that was Dickie that said. We'd like to extend our appreciation to Jersey Cape Yachts. When you need to get away from COVID, no way better to distance than to be on a Jersey Cape yacht. How's that, Dickie?
There you go. Dickie Dennis is probably like that very much. So, and if you don't need a yacht and you'd rather go for the RV
landlubber,
the landlubber kind of thing, then you check out the Great RV Life because they will hook you up with an RV rental. If you're going to go to Martinsville's coming up, if you would like to rent an RV and head out to Martinsville, actually, I believe they'll take it out there and set it up for you. There's all kinds of things that can be worked out.
Yeah.
But instead of buying an RV, you can just rent one. Mm-hmm. So why buy one and cover that expense?
Especially fly into Martinsville, and they'll have it all there. And, or, you pick it up and set it up yourself, either or. But, I mean, it's a fantastic way to not deal with owning your own RV and all that.
Yeah, so there's Scott McCormick and Sheila Duncan started Great RV Life right here in Statesville. So check them out on Facebook and Instagram at GR8RV Life. And they send them a message, and they will hook you right up. All right. So and we're back.
So we're ready for the first question?
Yeah, what's your first question there?
Okay, the first question was, when did the weight of the jacks drastically change?
Meaning like from Junior Johnson to what they are now?
So from like being, that they used to be like 100 pounds? How much did they used to weigh?
75, I think juniors.
75 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're what? I was down to like 28, I think.
Wow, so when I was doing it, it was like, when I was doing it, it was like 35, thereabouts. And I'm sure they have gotten lighter since then.
And they were, forming like carbon fiber handles and this and that, and I'm like,
oh wow.
I'm like, no, just give me some steel.
Mine was chrome moly, but my first jack, the handle was steel, and I kept bending them. So especially in Orksville and places, the jack handle would just bend, and I'm like, oh, not another one. So I was working in a machine shop, so I would go in there and I'd try different things, pressing a steel tube down in there. So I got one at home that's probably 20 pounds. I mean, that's a heavy jack handle. And then they come up, I guess it was Scott Brunholzer or somebody. come up and say, "Hey, I've got a chromoly handle. You can try this." And I looked at that thing, and it was like
paper thin.
Yeah, I was like, "How is this going to work?" But it worked. Yep. I never bent one from then on.
It's more of a spring than a than a tube, right? More
yeah.
Yeah,
so it's kind of cool if you watch the videos and stuff of it. They almost kind of bend, but
yeah, when you see a slow mo of like. Of what happens there. There's stuff that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, for sure. The mechanics of it is amazing.
I mean, I had a torn meniscus one time, and I was for physical therapy, and I brought pictures in, and the lady goes, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that." And I went, "No, that's what we do. You have to fix me."
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, my body has to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, "Look at your feet. Look at the angle." And I'm like, "They're stuck. That's good. You don't want to be sliding out."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Speaking of sliding out, did you ever slip on pit road, like on brake dust?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty slick stuff.
Yep. I've slipped on that, slipped on kitty litter once the car slid by.
So
I slid out.
Back in the day when you guys could formulate and put anything you wanted on the pit stall, what was some of the super juice stuff?
We just used Coke or VHT. Sometimes we,
VHT, the same stuff they put in the turns?
Sometimes. Why?
All right, if you want to plead the
fifth. If it sticks to a tire, it sticks to a shoe.
Yeah. Did we address that question by Brian Chobat about was there any NASCAR rules?
Well, I hadn't gotten down that far yet. So let's see. The next question that I saw was, how many pumps does it take to get a car or truck up?
One on the right and hopefully one on the left. Usually a pump and a half on the left.
One is the goal.
Yeah, one's the goal.
Used to be what, 3, 4?
Martinsville, 2, 3, definitely. Yeah.
Before the Brunhosel jack, I mean.
Oh yeah. Because I mean,
So they come out with this one pump jack. I mean, I know they're all called one pump, but they come out with this one particular one that Chuck White had. He was a big, big guy.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
And he would use it, and so I would kind of let him test it out. But the thing was, it jumped so fast that the tire changers would be hitting them, and then it just jumped so fast. So I tried it a few times, and I could do it. It's just my tire changers were like, I think we liked your other jack better.
Yep. Being left-handed at Evererham's, we had the guy Nate Bowling come up, and he played professional football, and he was left-handed, and then my job was to teach him how to do it left-handed. So he studied, being a football player, he studied video, and studied, and I worked with him, and it was like he did the same thing. He had what they call a 10-inch jack. He'd hit the thing so he was such an athlete. He'd hit the thing so fast, tire changer would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You couldn't get to it.
Yeah,
like you're saying, too fast.
And the other thing was let's say dropping it on the right side. I got to where I could just kind of drop it, a little bit. If one of the guys, usually one was still hitting lug nuts, and then I just kind of ease it down. As I was running kind of at the same time. It's one of those things, the more you do it, the more you pick up on little things you can do to help. And then I would come around the left side, and if the left front guy was a little bit slow, then I could just jump in there and grab it. But I always try to never let go of the handle because that was my...
See, I'm the same way. I see guys all the time, and they just bounce off the handle. And
it's like dong, 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 dong.
It's so vulnerable because I had a tire in truck series one time come across and hit the handle.
Yes.
And luckily I was standing right there, and I caught it.
Yes.
But, it's just another piece that's vulnerable,
what about the tire hitting your head when they pull it out,
I mean, that's just happened too.
Sure.
It was like, that stuff is, in the middle of a pit stop, you try to practice for everything, and you can't foresee everything.
What year did they transition that, David? That one pump jack come in?
Oh,
mid-90s, late 90s?
Yeah, mid-90s. That was around probably 97, 98.
Oh.
Yeah, 97,
They got
98.
a lot lighter, too.
It was,
that's when Brunhosel came out with that first deal of theirs and everything.
Yeah, I had their Brunhosel in 95, but it was a little bit different. They had the there was different stuff to it. I actually took parts off and started lightening them myself because I was, like I said, I get kind of slow in machine shop and then I would just start messing around.
Oh yeah, I love being in machine shop.
I know in '94. I know in '94 I was had a 3-pump jack, and the 1-pump jack was the hottest thing going. And I talked to one of our sponsors, say, "Can you just give me $1,500?"
Yeah.
And so we gotta get faster on pit road, and that's how we did it. I mean, it was 94, 95, somewhere in that era that came about.
So what's the weight differential between the old type and how much they weigh now?
Oh, I guess it would be. I mean, let's say mine was 35, and then
like I said, I was 28, right about 28. I remember. Because you also had that really thick aluminum handle, or you could do the chromoly handle stuff where it was.
So that's what do they weigh now?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm sure they're lighter. I mean, it's all about the fulcrum points and everything. If they can make them smaller and still get it up same and all that, why not?
Sure, it's about 7 pounds or so. I think it's what.
So basically, NASCAR doesn't regulate too much on.
It's probably
how
one of
those
the only
jacks
things they
are
don't
made.
regulate.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would actually make. I don't know. They had aluminum roller. I made them out of steel. I was doing all kinds of stuff, trying stuff, but then they come along with this guy come in with a jack that it wasn't hydraulic. You just stick it in. It was lever. It worked off of leverage. You stick it under and then push down, and it was like a 90-degree pipe. And and we were like, all right, yeah, this works. And it's easy.
Is this a joke?
But I said, what about places like Bristol? Like you come in really close to the wall, and you're sitting there trying. You can't use that because you're going to have
Right. That's the worst is when you come around the left side and it's like know in your head you can't get it up.
Yeah, you're too close to the wall.
Too close to the wall. And it's like.
Yes.
Here we go.
So
do all you can.
Does NASCAR inspect the jacks or keep an eye on them, or is there regulations?
No. Well, I mean, unless it's new, but it never was when I did it.
Yeah, and I mean, I kept mine with me on race day. I was like, all right, this is my baby.
You were saying, David, about sometimes you would make your own parts lighter. Did you? That's because you could take it in the machine shop and something.
Anytime
I did it myself.
Anytime when you're a machinist and you see something, you're like, oh man, we can lighten that up right there.
Yeah. I put my own little decals on there, Coors Light, number 40, and
I machined
cover up that area.
Stuff off of it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, because they started actually personalize it. Like you could personalize like Savco in the side of it instead of run hose. I guess.
You could make your own side plates and everything, and they'd build everything for you. It's like, all right, cool, whatever.
Because I know years ago the guns that they changed the tires with were really like secret, and sometimes guys would. I heard there was a point they were stealing them off of pit road race day morning.
I mean, I have no.
Either way, I know they changed that, and now they make the guns. They regulate that completely. So I didn't know if there was.
I've heard that they make them.
Well, yeah.
Somebody.
Everybody. What is it, Jeff? Do you know?
At one point in time, we started slowing the pit stops down because they were at 11-second level, and and bringing. When I jacked, I was a mechanic. Now we're bringing athletes in, and that's their job, and they're specialized, and they go through strength training, and they do just like a football or baseball, basketball player, whatever. And it's a choreographed play. And so NASCAR decides that for safety and so forth to slow down. They had an incident, probably with gas cans, and there's a couple fires in pit road. Rick knows all about being on fire. He's been on there. He's been upside down in the fire. So they slowed the gassing down to slow the pit stop down. But then they had, the tire changers they were spending so much money. These big teams were spending so much money just in developing pit guns and regulators and jacks that they slowed the tire changer down and regulated that you have to run this or use this pit gun and regulator, so it doesn't matter how fast the Jackman is per se to what it did 10 years ago.
Right, I got you.
And that cut the cost back in the industry. So we all know every time NASCAR cuts the cost back, it raises it, and
they spend it somewhere else.
We're on beat the rule one way or another,
right?
Somehow,
right? It's like when they change something like that. It's just like everything else. A year or two later, someone's going to figure out how to beat it. And that's our job. That's as racers. That's our job. How do you beat it? The rule's just a big gray book.
There you go. I saw one of the pictures of you. I believe it was you, and you had did you have a $10,000 check?
No.
Or wasn't you? Okay. It was somebody else. Was it not?
It was not.
Okay.
I wish.
You're like, I wish that was me.
I wish.
Okay.
We as a pit crew for 9 deal, we did win at Indy. We won that pit crew quarterly deal. We won that one. I might have been holding a check in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that was it. So
up on the pagoda up there.
Along those lines, here's a good question by my buddy Brian Chobat, who was one of the top NASCAR photographers for you. Remember David Chobat that used to come through the garage with the box, the Kodak box, bald-headed guy, and he'd sell 8x10s?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you got a Victory Lane shot from the 80s or 90s, on the back it probably says Chobat Racing Images. That's his younger brother Brian. He wants to know, do you guys have a trophy jack that you either designed or made that kept you after your jacking days? You know, your pride and joy of your days. Did you keep anything like that?
No,
David?
like I said, for jack wise and stuff, that was just I'd let them have that stuff. It was just standard off the shelf stuff that I modified myself, and But I didn't have any inspiration to really keep it. When I got shuffled off the catch cannon, I was actually involved in designing a new catch cannon and everything. So I did keep one of them, and then I made my own wrenches and everything, and then everybody liked them so much. They're like, "Hey, make me some." So I got a set of those too. So
you did.
That's cool. Was that a jack, a trophy?
Do you
jack?
have something in your racing days that you kept that, like one of your jacks that maybe you won?
Only thing I kept was the jack handle.
Yeah.
The one that I kept bending. Well, one of the ones that I bent, and then another one that I got the piece of steel pressed in, and it's a heavy jack handle. But other than that, I didn't keep the jack because they were just really expensive. I got some parts. I got extra wheels and things like that.
Yeah, I had for a while we switched over to Pit Boss, and I think they're in California, so they used to ship them out. And we got them playing for Cal Fontana, and I had my whole jack in a box. I sat there at the hotel and rebuilt thing right next to the pool.
There you go.
Having a good time. Like I knew what I was doing, and if I did it myself, I trusted it. So
right, yes. And then rebuilding them, part of that was the universal that they would use. They would eventually, the end would get kind of mashed down, and then it would start clocking itself to where when you push the jack handle down,
it would loosen.
It would either loosen or it would tighten, either way. And so you had to find one that would clock just right.
Right. Yeah. It's really surprising when you go to the handle and you go,
oh yeah, and it won't loose. Yeah, it won't. And so I had that happen to me. And whenever I went and tried out over at Earnhardt's for 2001 for Michael Waltrip, who ended up winning the Daytona 500, and they coincidentally gave me the jack that would tighten up when you push down on it. So it was like, okay, I see what's going on.
Yeah, let's see how this guy really does.
Yeah. So that's that. I do have a lot of extra universals and parts like that. For the jack.
Just like every other good, hoarder and stuff. We're going to use it someday. I
got grip tape, That's the other thing I learned at the grip tape. I used to put it all the way up the handle, and then I figured out, okay, it's not allowing my hand to slide up.
Yeah, I only need it down here.
Yeah, I only needed it down there. So I started doing that, and then put a ball of tape on the very end. So when I got to the end,
you don't want to slide off.
No, you get to the end, it's the end. You got the most leverage out there.
Right. It also helps protect your knuckles when you hit the wall. Put that ball of tape down there. It saves a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, that was the other thing. Hitting knuckles on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Been there, done that. I say Kyle Petty was probably one of the worst about pulling in, and so he's got his own show going on right now. So I know he's not watching this one, and this evening, and he was the worst about pulling in really close to the wall. And then whenever I would drop the jack, he would take off, but he would fishtail.
Right.
So then I would have to jump over the wall to keep from getting crushed between the car and the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes me wonder, did they do that on purpose?
Right.
We did good last time.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of on purpose, did you ever get run into? Did you ever get run?
Oh yeah. We were actually, I think it was the year we finished 6th at Charlotte with Spencer in the 7 Series car when I was still at Ultra. They had done grease sweep 3 pits or 4 pits earlier, and it was like, we're getting ready to jump off the wall, and when he comes in, he hit his marks, and he kept on doing this thing. It's like, as he slides going by, and I'm off the wall already. I'm going, oh no. So I just basically put the jack out and kind of rode the A-pillar and kind of bounced back a little bit.
Oh yeah.
He just kept sliding by, and I just went out there and waited for him. I was like, all right, here we go.
Yes. That's right. Terry Levan, he's for Tilly Hardy Davidson here in Statesville. He said, Kyle hit lots of walls. Yes. I'll tell you what, though, he hit the wall in 96 at Indy. And man, I got the valve covers off that engine. They got holes in each valve cover.
Really?
And if you see the video where how hard he hit, I think he was running second or he was leading. It was something like that. And the car went back on a rollback with both front quarters were pushed in like that. So as far as being hit, Earnhardt, let's see, ran over my foot one time. I wish I'd have kept that shoe. I mean, at this point.
Right. Yeah, I've had foot run over a couple times. Yeah.
So that's what he was wondering is there a certain memento? It doesn't really have to be a jack, but as long as you've been in it, you got to have something that you kept that was like that.
Like all the shoes, if they're worn out, you get another
you got
next
uniforms,
week.
uniforms, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I kept some of my uniforms. A good friend of mine, Steve Browner and stuff, he has a charity deal in Kentucky. And I donate a lot of my racing stuff. They do car shows and everything, and so I donate a lot of my racing stuff to him for the auctions at the car shows for the kids. And what it is the money they get, they actually go and buy bicycles and give them out to the kids at the hospital and stuff. You know, so you're not giving somebody the money, you're giving the kid a bike, and that's super
that's got to really annoy the nurses of them driving their bikes through the halls.
I'm sure the old people with their canes and their walkers.
Well, that's very cool. So the other well, I do have fire suits. I kept those. So yeah.
Yeah, I got most of my helmets, so I kept those.
Never had to have a helmet.
So Rhonda Gamble wants to know what's your best race jacking in.
The best race
you ever jacked in? That's your most memorable.
Probably win.
The one we won.
Yeah, 600 or
600 All-Star race. I mean, probably All-Star race because that's when you got to walk across stage. So you're really, superstar. It's like, I've never been.
How
that
about a
superstar.
worst case injury? Because you guys were doing it before you had to have helmets on too.
Torn meniscus.
Yeah, I've had a torn meniscus afterwards, but I also had my shoulder operated on the day after I got back from Atlanta in '99. I got my surgery. I had to be there at like 6:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Day after Atlanta, because I was like, all right, I want to be ready for 2000.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I did the same thing. Like right after Homestead, the next week, it's like, okay, boom, in the hospital, same thing. 7 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. It's like. You get there, and I walk in, and Tank was there, and Eric Wakeland was there, and somebody else was there. It's like all of us were here for the repair, so we can be ready for January,
That's it, here for the repair. I want to give a shout-out to Danny Lee. He's tuned in on Facebook. My Facebook didn't work exactly right, but it's going live on there right now. So I also want to say hey to some people on our YouTube thread here. IamTHamm on YouTube if y'all are listening on the radio and y'all want to see us here live in the studio. And you can come on there and make comments, ask questions, all that good stuff. And we've got Rachel Rodman down in Charlotte, Dickie Dennis over in Hopewell or Richmond, Virginia. He said what is the hardest track in relation to being a jackman? The hardest track.
I'd have to say Martinsville.
That's what you were saying, David. David, you were saying that Martinsville is probably the toughest in case the driver comes in too close. You go to jack the left side.
Yeah, some people say like Watkins Glen because you have to pit backwards. But, that's just adapting.
That was a good excuse, though, for that track. See? Because, I mean, if I mess up on that, hey, it's because I'm doing it backwards.
Does that propose any difference with you being left-handed going to the
No, because you train right-handed.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you still do the same.
Yeah.
It's the same movement, left-handed or right-handed.
It's just facing a different way.
Yeah. The worst part about being left-handed was my elbow was caught. I hooked the hood pin a couple times with my elbow from coming around, just trying to get that extra little bit.
Yeah.
And after the stop's over, it's like, what happened to my fire suit?
Yeah, right. Yes, I know what you mean. And Martinsville, they actually extended the pits all the way around, pretty much.
Almost all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah. But back in the day, it was a little bit tighter.
Oh yeah, there was nothing like having that stall 43, especially there at Martinsville, because you can't see. It's like,
then he's there.
Oh crap, here we go.
I would knock the hood pins out in the pit practice car because we didn't tape them.
Right.
On the race, we'd always have to tape them because I might get up there and knock them out with my elbow. I'd hug the front of that car. If I could jump over it, I would.
And that's a good. That leads up to a good question that Danny Lee has. He says he bets the adrenaline was incredible during a race. I mean, I've been there watching you guys get all psyched up. And I mean,
yeah, it sure was.
Then you get in the car and ride all the way home, and it's kind of
right. It's with all the training and stuff that we do. You have your mental training. You do yoga stuff. I mean, just everything. You're listening to the subliminal stuff while you're doing. It's all about finding that spot or how to get that extra edge. Worked. And that's like I said, Ben and Greg were they were right there with it, and kept getting better and better and better and stuff.
So even when I go into a track now, I'll go inside and I get that like adrenaline rush, and I'm like, it's okay. Yeah. I can calm down. I
remember the first time I went to a racetrack and I was on the outside of the racetrack, and I'm like, and I didn't know. I'm in the stands, and I'm like, what do I do up here? I'm used to being working and doing it.
You got to throw chicken bones,
right?
And drink some beer,
spill some beer.
We're gonna try that at Martinsville, David and I.
Yes, we are. We're gonna have a good time, man. I'm gonna try to just chill and be like, hey, I'm at the racetrack and I'm not working this time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know where your campers, man. I'll come by and I'll hang out.
So, David, I know that you've expressed that before you became a professional NASCAR Jackman, you admired Jeff Clark. Do you have kind of like a mentor or someone you admired coming in as?
No, I mean, I've watched it, for a long time. I actually became a Jackman when we were doing the truck series. We were doing pit stop practice at the shop, and I was actually the rear tire changer. And being left-handed, you can grab the spoiler, man. You can get some leverage coming around. It's like, heck yeah. Well, I did the right rear, and I came around the left, took the nuts off, and I'm like, nobody was there.
Yeah.
And they're gone. I'm like, what the heck happened? I go look on the right side, and the jack was on the right side, and there was a trail of blood from that all the way into the bathroom. And it was like, the dude let the jack down on the tip of his thumb.
Oh yeah.
And it's like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I just, my whole body just went. Oh, you're like,
yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that.
That was a tight place right there. I mean, I learned quickly, do not put your thumb up there.
Well, I was used to,
all.
some people had the post and they do their side, this and that, and I always kept the loop, but I would do it backhanded. I'd come in there with my knuckles towards, so I'd never ever lose a digit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I noticed you didn't like some people would.
And being left-handed, I could also pull it out quicker that way. So
Right. I noticed some jackmen would grab the jack, they would raise it all the way up like this, and it'd be dripping oil everywhere. And the handle, if they turn, they're going to knock somebody out with the handle. I keep it tucked up under here and run like this.
Oh yeah. You gotta keep your eye on the ball. You gotta keep protected.
So Jim Dooley reminds me of something here. He's up in Virginia as well. But where were you in 2014? Were you at the Richmond race in 2014?
Might have been.
Because when they had to stop the race there toward the end, because somebody did the unthinkable. This person climbed up on the fence. Y'all ever heard of such a thing?
That's just the craziest thing ever, I swear.
Well, he listens to our show, so let's dig it in. He's infamous.
The story's coming back after I've listened to you before.
There you go.
And the story's coming back. I'm like, hey.
That's right. Yeah, most people that come in here, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that. I need to get Alan Bestwick on here sometime.
Right.
Because he's like, or he had to stop the race because some idiot decided to climb on. And I'm like, come on now. Yeah. He's actually he's a really cool guy. So we don't pick at him. We just enjoy it. And we like to hear his stories.
If we're not laughing, I mean, it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, who else can say? It's one thing to have a NASCAR driver in here that you can say, well, you want to race, but who else can say they want to race? I mean, other people can, but who can say they've climbed the fence?
Right.
During a race.
I mean, you should be in the Guinness Book of World Records. I mean, no one else has done that one. I mean,
and got pictures and video to prove it.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
I mean,
two bets the front on the side.
We've been there. We've been there several times. You say winning the race. We've been there several times, or done this or whatever. But I mean, that's the one time we've done it.
Yeah.
That's what you get to say.
That's
I've done it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first started in the Cup deal. Went up to the top of the bleachers in Daytona, and with the other guy, and the guy was standing there. He's like, "Check that out. You can see all the pit lane." I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, remember that." He said, "There's 200,000 people on this side of the fence that can do your job better than you can."
Oh wow!
And you're one of 43 prestigious people that get a Jack Wilson Cup car.
Yep.
You never forget that.
Right.
Yep.
And it's sank in, and it's like. That's why I've never really got a big head about being a pit crew guy. I was a pit crew guy, and then after I was on pit crew, I'd go back and be a fabricator, and it was like, just didn't, the hoopla was like,
And something else that happens is when you kind of start getting that big head, like, you know what, I've been doing it this long and I have not made a mistake.
Right.
Then that's when you make a mistake.
That's when you start making mistakes, exactly.
Even if it's not something big enough that people noticed, I always picked up on my little mistakes, if I made something.
And the best way to get over a mistake is to, come about it twofold, and it's like, don't just, you'll mix up next time, and it's like, okay, everything's good.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you get your confidence back, and then it's like, but when you do have that one time, it's like,
oh
boy, the next one you're like, here we go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back to Racing Roots with Hamm with Rick Pennington and Jeff Lemons.
Family is everywhere, from close loved ones
South, because we're playing real country. 550 and 92.9 WAME.
All right, we're back to Racing Roots with Hamm, and we've got Rick Pennington in here with us. And we also got Jeff Lemons hanging out with Big Red's Barbecue. So we're trying to get some stuff going here in Statesville, bring old Big Red's in. Have you had some of his barbecue there, Rick?
Yeah, remember the cooking crew.
Good.
You know, so I'd help them do a lot of stuff at the house there. And, you know, I talk to Kat every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know, so she's, you know.
Kat Vitale.
Yes, sir.
She any kind of Dick Vitale?
Couldn't
I need to ask her that.
Jeff might know. No.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's where all of his money comes from.
So Jeff did give us barbecue, which I didn't get to sample yet.
I've had it 3 times now. I had it for breakfast yesterday morning. I had it for brunch, early after lunch, actually. And then I had some today.
Is that good?
Oh, yeah. I love it, man. It's mucho excelente is all I like to say. And then I'll put some of the Red Rooster sauce on it, and then put some of the 75.
Yeah.
Kind of mix them together.
Quiet.
Yeah, and if you put, if you put the
Right
sauces in the plate, you can put them one on one side and one on the
Do a
other,
little sample, yeah.
and then just kind of dip it. If you want to dip both together,
Yeah, we don't put our sauce in the barbecue. You get to do that your own, so you can try it.
Well, that's the real way they do it here.
Yeah.
You know, the barbecue's all cured and meat and on the side and smoked, and then you put the sauce on how you want.
Yes.
But,
Get her done.
Get her done.
You guys were talking
Yep.
a little bit right there at the end, and I give Rick, we get in public conversations.
Talking to the mic. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go. That's good. That's better.
We get in public conversations, and people don't really understand about what happens on pit road because there's. And I make a little, you know, a stab at, you know, we rode the hood. And they're talking about, what do you mean you rode the hood? I mean, we rode the hood.
Slide your ass
They're
across
coming in
your
there
butt
at
across
60
the hood.
mile an hour. The hood ornament's picking you up off the ground, and you're sliding over across the windshield and jacking and putting 4 tires on there and 22 gallons, now 18 gallons of gas
Isn't that
in
kind of
14
like,
seconds or
is
less.
that General Lee or is it Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah.
But D, all the above.
They're kind of like the flags for the bull.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in the bulls. What do you call that?
Running into the bull?
What do you call it?
Yeah, running into bulls, right?
Yeah.
Jeff? Oh, you know, Rick, sorry.
They're like the flag that the bulls charge at.
Yeah, y'all both do barbecue, and y'all are just kind of starting to look alike too. I mean, that's one of those things about barbecue and the
Well,
good
Rick's
eating,
part
right?
of the Big Red Traveling Barbecue Show cook team, so
You need to grow your beard.
yeah, he's got 2 special jobs. In the competition, he's the brown sugar spreader.
Okay.
And then,
That's because I'm sweet.
yeah. And then at 150 degrees, there's a technique that we wrap in foil, and his mom taught him how to wrap Christmas presents really well. So he does a really good tight wrap job in aluminum foil that continues to cook them meat. That's part of his job of the cook team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's good at something.
Yes. I got to hold one of the little crunchy pieces in my barbecue.
Right.
And you know, a lot of times you get barbecue and it's like, I have to spit this out. But the crunchy piece was like, I saved that for my last bite, and then I just went around with the sauce and then ate it. And I was like, oh yes, it's perfect.
So you save the best for last, just like I
Yes.
do.
So we've been talking to Joe Bondi a little bit here with Red Buffalo, and we're going
Right.
to have Jeff come up with this idea about having a racers reunion.
Pit Road Reunion.
That's it. Yep.
The names and the famous. We're the names the famous set in the driver's seat. We'll get us all up there, you know. And what I want to do is get Traci to run around and do like some of these award shows and just interview people as we're talking. And just have some cameras set up, and then her and maybe, you know, like be a pit road reporter and just say, you know, 2 guys or 3 guys like us are talking, and what was that story? Was it 1982, 1992, 2002, or recent,
Again,
whatever?
D, all the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, which story was that, Jeff? I'm sorry. I was had something going in through my head just now.
Oh no, I was just
Squirrel
saying we
ran
need
by.
to get Traci to be like, and somebody else be like a pit road reporter and walk through the crowd as we're just sitting there talking and tell them whatever story we were talking about at that time. You know, it's like Rick and I. We're very good friends right now, but you know, in the very beginning of our career, we walked across pit road with hundreds of people that we didn't really know, but we competed against them, and we weren't going to lose to that guy because I knew that was the team, or he was the tire changer, or we were in the garage and we changed gears side by side. But we didn't really know each other. And later in life, Rick and I got to become friends. We've been working together for almost 10 years now, and we're both machinists, and he's from the West Coast and I'm from the Midwest, and we have our differences, but we get along good. We get along really good, and he's part of my barbecue cook team. And over the years, if you spend any time on pit road, you make these friendships, and throughout that time, and that's what I want to do, is get everybody back together and say, just like Pam Ford and some of the inspectors, we had to deal with each other as a brother and sisterhood, and it wasn't always beautiful, but it was at some point in time, and just have a good time.
Yeah, she actually was going to come up here this evening, but she's not going to make it because she just got home from work, so it's a little bit earlier. But
right,
I saw her at the Iredell County Fair. I ran into her.
Oh, that's right.
Pam,
she said and you told me, but yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, they want to know how to get a hold of some of that barbecue. I put your Facebook page up here and your email for everybody, Lemons Farms, Route 123 at AOL.
All you got to do is reach out to that, and Kathy Vitale would be glad to take care of you, and we can ship anywhere in the country, including Alaska.
Fantastic.
Best way to buy it, 6 jars. It's the cheapest because the United States Postal Service charges $15 for 1 or 6.
Yeah, so get 3 of each. Try all the flavors. You got 3 different flavors.
Yep.
Yeah, I was asking if she was any kin to Dick Vitale.
No.
Maybe not. Okay, sorry. So. All right, here's the. I'm going to put y'all on the Traci cam and and my dad cam. So that
Carl and Tracy in the house.
Yeah.
Should have told me.
So whenever I said I got distracted earlier. I was kind of looking over this one. I was looking over to my dad to make sure everything was good over there. He's just hanging out tonight. And
doesn't he look so handsome?
Yeah.
It's like Clint Eastwood sitting over there.
There you go.
He does.
Like
Get off my porch.
He was a truck driver back in the day, and Dad, do you remember Henry Benfield? Now you were a huge Junior Johnson fan.
Ooh,
do you remember being at Charlotte Motor Speedway 1964, I believe it was, when Fireball Roberts? Do you remember that? You were let's see, how old were you then? You were 18, I guess. And the Fireball Roberts car flipped over and the flames erupted from it, and you took off running down there towards it.
Yeah, I ran all the way down
Yeah.
You was gonna save him.
Yeah.
Ran all the way down there.
So, do you remember? All right, so you took me to a race when I was really young.
Great day.
And I was like, yeah. So my grandfather was kind of anti going to the race because there was anti-drinking, and so one time he went to a race and he got spilled a beer on him or something like that, or somebody threw up. It was one of those. Do you remember that?
Yeah, probably. I don't remember.
Okay, and so I don't know if he ever went to another race, but he was a big race fan. So when I got into racing, he passed away in 1992. And I was like, I really wish he would have been around to see me, get into racing, because that's something that they grew up teaching me about racing. And they lived right there on Moorhead Road, right down the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway. So I would listen, hear the cars going by as a kid.
Right? Oh, yeah.
My first 2 years in life, we lived over off of Roberta Church Road in that little trailer park, right across from the racetrack. Or through the woods from the racetrack. Yeah.
Good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. That's it. All right. So we're back to we got Rick Pennington in here, who is also a fellow Jackman, and Jeff Lemons.
We gotta hang together.
The left-handed Jackman.
Left-handed. That's right. And John Bryan, he was the left-handed Jackman.
Yep.
He's been a good friend of mine for many years. He lives down there near Phil.
Yep, Cheryl's Ford, baby.
That's it.
Oh, that place is growing. I saw a video today, and they're putting in about 700-800 homes out there in the next couple of years, but not a thing to the road.
Oh, wow.
Actually, they made the road thicker and not wider.
Well, I've been there 21 years. We got to figure out what address you live at so I know where to come to.
I'm telling you, man, I'm on Beatty Road there where the old gun shop used to be. Down there.
Yep.
But, I used to get off the interstate, and it's 10 miles from 36 exit to my door. And in 1999, when I built a home out there, I could drive 70 miles an hour down 150 and pass maybe 2 cars.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's, 700, 800 cars you pass.
Yeah.
Slanting Bridge is going to be a mess.
When I first moved here, I used to live right there by Moroso Turn, where he passed away.
Right,
And I lived there, and I worked at the drag strip. There's literally only like 4 or 5 stoplights the whole way.
Yeah.
And now you can't even get to Perth without hitting 2 or 3.
It is crazy. So Jim Dooley says, "Hey Pam, miss hearing you on WAME, and get on, girl." So yeah, I've had her on the show here, and so I was mentioning to her about coming in here and hanging out with us because she knows Jeff. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to get back in. Cat Vitale says no relation. It threw me off because it says Kathleen. I'm used to seeing Cat. That's a no relation. Yes.
Yeah.
Ronnie Gamble says Fort Hays State, and is that where you play football?
Yeah, we're getting ready to fly out there next week for cook some barbecue on my birthday weekend, the 21st of October, and then the following weekend, my roommate's being inducted. Richard Lowe from Bovina, Texas. He's being inducted into the Fort Hays Sports Hall of Fame. So we're having a big 10-day festival of Big Red's barbecue and football. And
get on over.
In Hays, Kansas, the middle of the United States. I can tell you one thing: it can be 70 this morning and 15 tomorrow.
Is that the reunion that Rhonda's talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how does that fare when your boy from North Carolina brings his vinegar-based into Kansas City?
Well, they're starting to like it because they like that sweet, molasses, heavy sauce. But they buy more sweet and sassy than they do 75 or Red Rooster. But when Jeff barbecues and throws it all out there for free, they don't mind eating it.
There you go.
Free is for me.
I'll say to Kit Rodriguez down there in Port St. Lucie, Florida, and also Paul. They're always tuned in here every week. And Scott Trevison's down in Florida. So he said, say hello to Mr. Carl for me. You said that earlier. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, who we got on the line here? Who would be calling? Hello.
How are you, David?
I'm doing good. It sounds like Dickie Dennis.
It's me, man. How you doing, Mr. Lemons? Hey, Phil, Tracy, and all y'all.
Hey, brother.
Yeah. We're doing really good. We're having a great time. We're enjoying this. It's like all of a sudden now I'm a regular on here.
That's right. You are.
Everybody wants to hear a question about David. If you got a racing story about David of dirt. You got to keep it PG.
He's looking for some dirt.
You're looking for some dirt. Well, David and I worked together in 2000 and 2001. Sapco's our big name that we worked for back in the day. Chip Ganassi just sold out and leaving NASCAR here at the end of 2021. That was a big deal for us, and I was crew chiefing for Kenny Irwin down in the bottom garage, and David was up in the top garage building motors and so forth and so on, and crossing pit road. And we probably have some stuff that we can't tell. That's all I can really say from back then. But I mean, we've known each other for 21 years now, and it's a great new relationship. I'm glad. It's just like I said, I'm glad to reunite with people, and the radio shows reuniting with people that we've met across the years of pit road, because there's just so many of us, and we have so many stories to tell, and I'm just glad that I can bring my friends here. It's just like a country song. I think one of these modern singers sing, I'm bringing my friends to the party, and we're going to have a good time doing it.
That's right. Yeah.
Friends in low places.
Well, yeah, I got some friends in low places, Dennis. I can tell you that right now.
That's better than friends in crawl spaces. So anyway. Yes. All right, so R.D. Ford's tuned in. Hey there, R.D. He says, thank you, left-handed NASCAR Jackman Rick Pennington, and Jeff Lemon's great listening. Night off. Thanks, David. So you're leaving us already. That's okay, though. Thanks for tuning in. But we still got a little bit longer to go on the show. So
am I that boring?
No.
He tuned in at the beginning.
That's right. Yeah, he's in a different time zone.
Funny, man. Hey, Halloween night, y'all, man. I'm going to see y'all Halloween night, man. I love y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thanks for calling, Dickie. Have a good night. That's right. I heard that from a distance. That's Phil over there, I think. Oh. Hey, so, yeah, we're going to go up to Martinsville there, and on, I guess it'll be Halloween night, we're going to be hanging out with the Decker family, Natalie and Amy and Chuck and Manisha and Scott Trevison, the beer man, and Jana So we're gonna have a big time.
And Tracy, you coming up, Tracy? No, Tracy's like, y'all are gonna get too crazy.
No, I actually have to work.
Oh, okay, yeah. Somebody in the family's got to
and
commit.
I like to stay home with Poppy too.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear you.
That's right.
It's really, really good to watch you guys with Bear Man a couple weeks ago on the show. Good to be back in town and reunite your first experiences of the beginnings. And Scott and I were good friends there at Sapco. And Jana, I met her when she was doing PR work with some of the tents outside there. And it's just, like I said, we need to have a pit road reunion because we've all known each other for a long time with a lot of stories.
Yeah, for sure. And somebody else I thought about, do you remember Jamie Freeze?
Yes.
He lives here in Statesville, or he lives in Troutman, but he comes up to Statesville a lot of times. I'll be standing there with the Friday After 5 right down the street here, and there's Jamie standing over there. And he's been around NASCAR a long time. He worked, for whenever Rusty Wallace won the championship with 89, I believe it was. He was on that team, but he was only like 16 years old or something. Yeah,
right.
But I thought about, I should have had him come up here, like when you had the Beer Man on, trying to get some of the Savco people in here. And
well, that's the one thing about racing, though. Like I said, even no matter what team you go to, you get shuffled around this and that, but everybody knows everybody. And at the end of the night, if everybody's sitting at the restaurant, you wouldn't know who worked on what team or nothing. It'd just be like.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great time. It's a good. It's a big family.
Did you ever fly on that Race Day Express?
Oh yeah.
Because that was kind of one of those things where you see the same guys every week.
Oh yeah. Flew out of Statesville, and then when I was at Evererham, we had our own Brasilia, so it was like,
Yeah.
So
Mark walked through the one building.
David and I was on the big plane, the King Air at Sapco had.
Granddaddy.
Oh man, sometimes
the
those
one
planes.
where the oil was leaking.
Oh no, that was a Race Day Express plane. Oil.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, that's Rouse Racing every week. We had some kind of emergency that we had to fix. We were left Chicago going to go test Indianapolis, and they came back to me and said, "You got your pocket knife?" I said, "No, I put it in my suitcase. Didn't have it with me." He said, "Well, we got to change the light bulb in the dash, see if the landing gear's down."
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, boy, there's some plane stories.
Yeah. Well, so Dickie was asking about a story about me, so I'll just tell on myself right quick, because it was, I think, the first year that I was going to the track. The first year I was going to a NASCAR Cup Series track was in 1995. And so we got stranded in, and I was an old married man by then. I mean, I had a daughter that was 7. Yeah. And I was only 24, but, so anyway, something like that. Yeah. And,
you had responsibilities.
Yeah, I had responsibility. So I had not been out much at all. I didn't realize there was such places as these places that you can go to, and see ladies of the night, whatever. So we got stuck.
Wait, you mean ladies hanging on a pole, or ladies of the night?
The shoe show.
No,
there's a drastic difference. One's a street corner and one's inside of a building.
Let's just say it was a shock to my system, because we got stranded in San Francisco. We went to the airport. I was speaking of airplanes. We got to the airport, and the battery was dead in the plane somehow. So we got off the plane, and they had to wait on a battery to come from China, I guess. I don't know. Because they were like, you got to stay overnight. So they kept us overnight. So we had to go get a hotel room. So Ty Norris was our general manager. He gave us $100 to go have fun with. So we went to this place called O'Farrell's. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of it.
That's what you and Scott talk about all the time.
Yes, I'm not putting a plug in for them, because I'm not sure that that the devil don't live there.
Scott says
he's upstairs, not downstairs.
Yes. So there was all kinds of stuff in there, and I could go into all kinds of details, but there was like little rooms and different things. And I was like, what are you doing there? Anyway, it was just different for me. It was a shock to my system. I had no clue.
And you came out broke.
And no, I'm not going to say what I did. I didn't have much money. I didn't spend much money. Let's just say.
Well, there was a time and era.
There might have been a brown chicken and a brown cow involved.
There's a lot of things that happened, and the sport has changed and evolved for hopefully the better, and so forth and so on. But yes, I know about the gumball machine that got thrown off into the pool at Daytona, and I know about a couple places that Dave's talking about, but I don't think these guys do that today. I mean,
they're only there a day. They have stuff there a night anymore. We used to be there 3 nights, 4 nights. It's like
right. Oh, well, I have so many stories. You know who I ran into yesterday at the track was Thumper. Do you know who he is, the truck driver?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the time he fell off the
Liftgate?
At Indy? No, he fell off the balcony at the hotel. Yeah.
I mean, we're laughing. I guess he survived because he saw him.
He was still around.
I saw him yesterday, so he's still alive.
Yeah, he's
That's the
still
only reason I'm laughing.
Joe Gibbs Racing.
Because we know it ends okay.
Yeah.
No brain damage.
Well, he
might
looked
start
lost
out
on
with
pit road, but he was
I
making
think
his way.
we all got brain damage for being involved in this mess. But,
Brain damage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dane Bramage.
Well, we love
Okay.
it.
So I guess he's doing okay.
Yeah.
All right. That fall didn't hurt too
That was
bad.
20 years ago.
Okay, next.
In the pool.
Yeah.
Walking kind of funny.
Old days.
All right. So is there any questions, Tracy?
Let's see.
Because there's Jim Dooley's asking a question. He asked me.
Jim asked, "Hey Ham, when are you going to get the infamous Sticky Dennis
Well,
on the show?"
I've got a cure for. I've got something for that.
He's got a cure?
No, or whatever you call it. Jim, you got to go pick Dickie up and bring him to us. That's what it is. That's what it's all about.
There you go.
And he's mentioned doing that for Martinsville, so I guess we'll see Jim and Dickie in Martinsville. And Jim's probably like, "What?" But yes, he is. Actually, that's the plan.
We got a broadcast from there. We need to do a little show, David.
Yeah, so y'all are both going to be on the show in Martinsville. Whether I do it live or not, I don't know. I might have to edit, but I'm going to do some video.
Well, you know,
a 5-minute delay.
NASCAR came up with a 10-second delay there for a reason at some point in time.
Yeah,
You know.
it's called latency
If
on
we
video.
have Dickie Dennis on, there will be a 10-second delay.
Yeah.
Minimum.
my YouTube channel, I don't want to get hit with any, it's just,
Right.
whatever.
Blocks for the next 30 days.
Right. That's it.
Yeah, lockdown.
But it's called latency on a video. I can set it up for different. But now I don't know what you do if somebody says something or does something and you don't want it to go on video and you got 30 seconds. Then what do you do? Hit stop right there. I mean, I don't know. I got to figure that part
Stop,
out.
and then you get real close to the camera. And go, we had to edit.
You can hit mute.
Well,
okay.
well, with this modern technology, you might have to revert back to the past because, there used to be tape reels of all this stuff, and you cut and paste and cut and paste, and you don't get it. You don't get in with some of these colorful people like you're starting to hang out with. You don't have to learn how to cut and paste.
It takes a whole new.
Well, that reminds me of Phil going into the black room, I guess.
Well, I was just thinking that, people had asked me, what was it like to go from film to digital photography? Did it make it easier? Not really, because like you were saying, Jeff, I used to shoot the film and send it off to be processed and edited later, and I could go out, I could relax, I could meet up with people and do stuff after the race. Now it's like, what are you doing after the race? I'm sitting down for 3 hours, like the other night, 2.5 hours after the race Sunday, just editing and stuff. And it's like, it's with digital photography, you're constantly doing it. You're shooting, download, and send it, shooting, download. No time.
Right. But like you said, though, you can sit there and do it instantly, though. Like, you can literally look at your camera and go, oh, okay, no, that was not good. We need to do it over.
Sadly, that
Before
makes
you
it
couldn't.
easier for everybody to do it. Yeah.
All right. Yes. All right. So let's see what else we got here. K White. What goes on the road stays on the road. Race crew motto. That's
Kevin White. KW. Has a moonshine business. He's on it.
So that's why he's trying to use an alias because it's K White.
Yeah.
Somebody did ask about moonshine.
KW Speeds.
KW Speeds moonshines on the NASCAR truck team.
Rhonda Gamble wanted to know the Texas or Kansas moonshine compared to North Carolina moonshine? ? Any difference?
Clear and brown.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that right?
It all comes from the creek.
It's all creek water, but depends on the grain and where you're located. It's just like barbecue and barbecue sauce. Depends on what part of the country you're in. If it's beef or pork or what, or if it's got molasses or vinegar. Or it just depends on what part of the country you're in.
Yeah.
So Kansas has got rye and wheat, and the East Coast has got corn.
Okay, there you go. So, and then who has bourbon?
Who has bourbon?
Anybody. I guess that's when you put fruit in it, right? Is that California?
No,
I'm sorry for the left coast.
Bourbon is aged in a barrel.
Oh, what were you saying?
Brandy. They can.
Okay.
They can
Brandy's fruit.
Yeah. That's the California wine, or whatever you call it.
No, those are grapes.
Oh, that's right. Yes, there's songs about that.
It's California brandy. Yeah.
I like to think the guy that grows the grapes out in California.
When you say that, I'm thinking sangrias for some reason.
Oh yeah, sangria.
That's what I was
There's
thinking.
some Blake Shelton right there for you.
Yeah. Hey, all right,
I
so
don't drink 'em,
Paul
but I know
Rodriguez,
they are.
he says RD Ford David has no idea that in New Hampshire they actually roll up the sidewalks at 6 p.m. There you go.
Because it's dark.
Yeah. And Jim says next time he's got to keep my text shut. Sorry about that, Jim, but you're locked in. And but hey, if somebody else on here wants to help out, but no, we're looking forward to seeing Jim and Dickie at Martinsville. So, and all right, what else? Scott Trevison, Big Red's barbecue sauce rules. Yeah, I actually just showed a close up over here of Phil with the Big Reds right in front view there. And
so I can't post a photo over here.
Jersey
right,
Cape Custom Yachts and Great RV Life. You can let's see. No, you cannot. You can send it to me and then I can upload it. You can send it to my email address if you would like.
I just was going to comment the other day on the race. What we all thought of the Roval race the other day.
Yeah.
And I was shooting outside the front stretch there, right near the start-finish line, near the end. And when that 4-car hit, I was listening to probably some Ted Nugent.
Oh, were you?
My ears, but all the crowd started going crazy, and I looked and I saw the 4-car in the wall. I turned around and took a picture. Of the crowd. You would have thought the Rolling Stones were in concert or something. They
like
were
Dale Jr. Just like Dale Jr. went by.
Oh man, yeah, he ran down the front stretch, Dale Jr. But yeah, the crowd just went ballistically crazy.
Huh. I was talking about the airplane being broke down that time in San Francisco. Sammy Hagar was there at that little airport we were at.
Right.
So yeah.
So did you guys break down in San Francisco or up in Nevada or Fairfield or?
That was that's a good question. It was a small airport. I just knew
that
I was
in and out of Nevada now.
Right. Because they used to go in and out of Fairfield up there by the Marine World and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. This was 1995, and I don't know where I was.
That's not yesterday.
Oh, that's just
I don't know.
5 years ago.
Don't forget, our sponsor was Coors Light.
Right. Oh, I understand. Yeah, that's
and
all
so
good.
leaving the racetrack, it was the redneck cooler, I think Sterling called it, and that was the bag of ice.
Right. Bag of ice with beers in and stuff. Yeah. Truck driver would put them all in there by the duels. And everything would be good.
So by the time you get to the airplane and you're just ready to eat, take a nap, or actually we just take a nap, just go to sleep.
You had the beer man here a couple weeks ago, and I was trying to call in and had a phone problem, whatever. I know you all got that fixed now, but I wanted to ask the question, which most people don't know, but how many cases of beer did the beer man leave in motor coach lot and the garage area with all the people associated with us, Felix's and Sterling's and the 2 race trucks and the Busch cars? We had 3 Busch cars. How many cases of beer did he put on ice for us for that weekend? Because we got there on Wednesday night and didn't leave till Sunday. So I mean, what they see today, the one-day shows, we were there for a lifetime. And the thing about it is Budweiser had beer there, Miller had beer there, Coors had beer there, and it was like if you were in Victory Lane, the truck drivers just left a cooler right next to your truck, and you had bring it back. The truck driver brought it back the next week and gave it back to the truck driver it belonged to. But you had quite the celebration.
I'll guess 70 cases.
Yeah, what about speed weeks, 2 weeks in Daytona?
Do you know how many cases? Or?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, we had when I was with the truck deal, we had Ice House sponsorship, and they would bring a pallet to the shop a month, and then 20 cases a week to the track.
That's like
and we would literally use as bartering chips, like, hey, you want a case of beer for a case of brake clean, or just use it for bartering chips. It's like
set of tires.
Yeah, we didn't get that far yet, but
and the Skull
did take something.
Yeah, the Skull team was popular to trade with.
Oh yeah, Levi Garrett. I mean, I chewed Levi Garrett back in the '90s, and I never did without.
Scott says 50 a week.
50 a week.
50.
Wow,
okay.
50 a week. And 38 of those were Sterling's,
right.
I believe.
Sterling got mad because they were going to cut him from 20 to 10. When I crew chief for him, they were going to cut him from 20 to 10. And he said, you don't know who I am. So
Call Schrader, he's probably got some.
Probably so. Yes, he'll get his own. Too bad we didn't have a moonshine sponsor.
And he says 150 cases at the shop.
Okay, 150. Wow.
Yeah, we had a closet we went to every month that they handed us a case of beer. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I remember that. Yes, and then sometimes if you were good, you might get 2.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you were the last person, and they're like, "Well, you might as well take 2."
I don't want to put this back.
You did it so good this week. This is your bonus.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, my buddy down Terry Levan at Tilly Hardy Davidson says, ask Henry Benfield about the moonshine. That's absolutely right. Oh, Henry.
When you can get him on here,
I
he's
know,
always
yes.
busy.
Yeah. I believe he still has it. I think, well, I ain't going to tell you who he gives
He
it to.
still
huh?
works.
Yeah, sure.
So I got a question. You guys have been around long enough. You got a good old story
Yeah.
about Sandwich Construction Company.
Yeah.
You guys remember going there?
Is that the one in Harrisburg or exit 28?
Right there, where 29 and 49 split.
Yeah, right
Harrisburg,
downtown,
right?
but in Harrisburg, right
used,
there. Yeah.
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
remember going in there?
I never frequented that establishment.
On 49.
Oh man, it was a blast.
Not what you
Yeah.
think.
I know it was the mainstay of a lot of racers in the area long before everybody moved up here to Mooresville and went back down. It was all, a lot of people were around Harrisburg and Concord and Kannapolis and all spread out, and it was a good local spot where people met, and had lunch or had an evening gathering, and it's amazing. I have a very good friend that owns a business down there, and they did their uniform business, clothing business, and they used to do Anderson Uniform. They used to one of my sponsors on my cook team. They did the clothing for several different race teams, STP and some Diegard, Gatorade. We were watching an old race the other day. Said, "Yeah, we built that right down there." And I was just sitting with Elmo Langley's son Billy a week ago down there having a cold beer, which is things happen like that when you're old enough, over 55, that you're allowed to do that. So, but talk about what happened down there. I mean, Senior came through that part of the area and all that kind of stuff. So, just it's very interesting. And those places are gone these days.
What's that? Chris Politis was the guy, the owner, right?
Yeah.
And then they started the Stock Car Cafe, but
that's the one at 28.
Cornelius.
Yeah.
But I was there whenever Kyle got back from his first ride from his and right across the country there. And it was 1995. It was, I remember me being there, and Mimi, Felix's daughter, and some of the other guys. I'm sure Scott was there probably. And it's, like I said, it was the end of.
I think I was there too for the scene, and I remember the parking. Yeah. You had to park about a mile away because it was really limited parking down behind there, and there were cars strung all the way down the hill on there to 49.
Okay, yeah, I believe I got there pretty early, so I didn't have to worry about the whole parking scene. But yeah, that was one cool place. There's a lot of pictures from in there, and I know you had one too, right? You had Steve Warner in the picture, who's a country
Warner,
singer,
and Sam Bass, and Michael Waltrip,
cool.
and Derek Cope, and
Chris and Sam. That's it. Sandwich Construction. This is what Scott Trevison says. Chris and Sam at Sandwich Construction helped me tremendously when I was developing his NASCAR trivia game. Yeah, that's. I've got one of those copies of that game. We should have a show just playing that game sometime, But and then you really find out who. You
think we can answer all the questions
in
that game?
I was going to say you find out
I'll
who's
be the dealer.
High Banks. That's right. You could find out. Yeah, Traci will be the dealer, and we'll get my dad in on it too. That's one of those games that if you were around back then, you'll know the answers, because I can sit there and look through and I'm like, oh yeah, but this was true back then, but it's not now. How things change.
Right.
Who can Google faster?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yes, yes. Oh, Buffy Waltrip worked there. I wonder if that's where Michael met Buffy. I'm assuming.
You think?
Yeah. Go figure. Yep. All right. And so let's see who else we had. Ronnie Gamble says St. Louis was. And Dickinson is shining is fine. What does she mean by St. Louis? I was trying to figure that one out. So.
Honey, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm lost on that.
All right, explain that.
I'm lost too.
Y'all were saying.
Explain that one there.
I'm lost too.
Well, I've been to St. Louis, and that was hot.
Maybe
That's really
she's
hot.
talking about
It's
the beer.
brutal, humid.
Yeah, oh yeah, humid. Is,
Three
I'll
Rivers
get
meet
out.
there. It's terrible. Yeah.
Trois Rivers.
Yeah.
We've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so if y'all got any last-minute questions, throw them at us, because we're just about to wrap up the time. But check out my website, IamTHamm.com, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you like this. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs up twice. Appreciate that.
The third time, actually. So
Do you still do any engine stuff or anything?
I still do, yes. I work on older car. I like the classic. All right, I basically like to keep things that are part of history going, whether it's tractors, cars. If somebody brings me anything that's part of history, I want to keep it running, you know.
And himself.
Engines. Yeah, I mean, I'm part of well, I'm historic.
The best
at
thing
this
about
point.
older stuff, though, is like, you know, you can actually take it apart and figure it out. Like,
Dude, I've
today
seen
you pop
him.
a hood and all you see is plastic. It's like,
He loves
forget
it. He loves that
It's just
stuff.
like appliances; they don't last anymore.
No, everything. It's a disposable world. You know, and it sucks because it's like there's. I mean, you know, they know Hoover vacuums like the old ones where it hit your leg and you know?
Yeah, right. Made in China. You know? Listen, when I was a kid, everything was made in Japan, and we were like, "Can't we get something made here?" And then now I'm like, "Gosh, I wish that was made in Japan." You know, because I mean,
we're big into that. Stuff. We're big into repurposing and taking some old stuff that you can't fix or redo to put a fancy color on it or tie them together and weld and fabricate it. You know, we're all machinists and fabricators, and there's nothing that is we can't do.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of putting your mind to it. And somebody dreams up something, we can make that dream come true. Yeah. And that's one of our goals, recognized goals as friendship, is when we get a little bit older here, we get towards our 60s, that we can be craftsmen like the old guys by the wood stove eating peanuts and build something cool for who knows where downtown or whatever. So
what's wrong with being 60s? What's wrong with that?
Being a fabricator, you can see something, but you can see so much more into it. You know what I mean?
We're close to it, Phil.
I'm over it.
I like repurposing stuff. I can turn that upside down, do this.
Well, so answer this question, Rick. Whenever somebody says, "Well, that's broke," I'm going to throw it away. Do you think, no?
Whoa.
Right.
Whoa, easy, Tiger. It's not broke. It's just not working right now.
45-foot trailer full of stuff that's
broken. We're good.
You know what? Those are future projects when you retire.
Scrap metal.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's 401k program.
Yeah, that's my life savings in there.
Yeah.
So this is Will Cratchity enjoying the show.
Good.
I'm not sure. Is that Will Cronkite? Cratchity?
I don't know. That's a good question. He usually comments. He says hello. So Will Cronkite, if you're listening, hello to you, because I know he usually goes on Facebook and says hey, but it's past his bedtime, I think, right now.
Mine too.
But man, what a great show. Having Will on here. So Will come on the show, and then the next week he was on. Junior gave him a call right after my show and got him on there. Yes. And then Marty Houston was on my show, and then the next week Junior was wearing a Marty Houston shirt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Shirt.
Oh, yeah.
So
I thought that was cool.
We need to collab with Junior, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, apparently we need to get Marty then.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Marty's going to come in sometime too. He was great on the radio.
That'd be good. It'd be, like I said, that whole reunion thing. You know, it's we need to get that. Make sure we get that deal going and push it. You know, it could be a possibility of a great fundraiser. You know, as far as just a bunch of people just getting together and having a good time. And, you know, with this whole COVID deal thing, you know, it's like everybody, let's just all get together with no mask and have a good time. Like, you know, just.
The 1st of December is about the easiest time for all of us to get together because of the holidays, and then once January comes, we all start working again. And the thing about it is, we do a lot of fundraising, and it would be great to promote downtown and the businesses, and us all get together and do something for children. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott Traverson says I love Blaze Alexander, and he was very, very kind to me. Yeah, I loved Blaze too. Miss him. All right, so I'm gonna put Tracy and Dad on the Tracy Dad cam.
All right.
So y'all see, y'all can wave bye to everybody, and
right here.
There we go. All right.
Smile pretty.
Say good night, Clint Eastwood.
There you go. Good night.
Good night, Gracie. Good night, Gracie.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Wants to say something.
And hold on one second. Let me get this on here.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dad. What you got?
Oh, I'm just gonna say enjoyed this, and been a long time in it myself.
Yeah,
where we lived.
Over in Oakdale, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You used to go hang out at the radio station.
Yeah, and there was a lot going on back then.
So, who was the DJ you listened to out of
goodness.
Louisiana? I believe it was. It was back in the day when you were riding around on your truck. And so yeah. Hold on one second. I've got it in here.
You just ride around on the truck. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. Because back then they didn't have the internet or let's say Wi-Fi. Yeah. So they would have to listen to what was coming out on the airwaves.
Didn't even have color TV then.
No microwave. No microwave. What?
Microwave. Cell phone. 2 cups and a string.
Yeah, 550. It was a big channel back in, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
700 Club.
Yeah.
No, I'll have to think about it. It was I'll just have to remember who he said it was, and I wish I could find it. But to jog his memory, it was out of Louisiana. It was a big radio DJ down there, and yeah, that was it. I don't know. It's in my phone somewhere. All right, so that was it. But hey, one thing
was
my dad.
Was it Rockin' Ray and Wolfman Jack?
Well, Wolfman Jack, you remember him?
Wolfman Jack's in Texas.
Yeah. But one of the things my dad taught me was the old trucking. He had the cassette tapes. We still have them, and he would listen to that.
I got 8-track tapes.
Who doesn't?
And also, Dad, you actually used to ride the bus, and do you remember down in Charlotte who drove that bus? Baker.
Yep, Buck Baker.
Wow. Oh, cool.
Tell us about that.
Cool.
He drove the buses around. I mean, he drove the
city bus,
and he'd come up through the yard. Not a yard, but he'd come around our house and get up pretty close to us.
Yeah.
We thought that was cool.
So what did he do? Where did he take you?
He just got taking it out, getting it down, getting it where we were, and he was taking it to the other place or whatever.
He take you downtown?
No, I didn't go downtown.
Oh, okay.
But just getting around the neighborhood.
Yeah, he'd take you out and bring you back.
Not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, he wouldn't never do that.
Oh.
Downtown, that was one building.
Okay.
Who's your stop by?
They had some times now.
Yeah. That's cool. Good deal. So there's a picture of my dad climbing down when they were building the big Merita plant there. I think it was Merita, right?
Yeah, Merita Brother.
Merita Bread.
Bread.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right off 85 in Charlotte.
Yep.
And it was right near Robert Yates' building. Right, it was the next road, Glenwood
right
Drive.
Across there, yeah.
It was between Glenwood and that road where
Robert Yates downtown, where the
12.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So that's where that's where it was. And so there was a pile of dirt there when they were building that, and my dad got in the newspaper, 1957.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Running down through there.
Yeah, Robert Yates came out of Home of Moody.
He was running right down the hill.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, he
which
ran
is down there by the airport.
Well, yeah, that was. But I'm saying where the Yates shop was there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right off 16 and 12 or whatever. But
yeah, we had all places over in there.
Yeah. All right, good stuff there. So yeah, we got NASCAR history, and Tracy's dad worked with Robert Yates. Well, yeah, he worked with Robert Yates.
Back in Home and Moody.
Yeah, and I've talked to Eddie Lanier, and he's going to come in on the show, and he's worked with Robert. He said he was the engine bearing fit up guy, and they moved him to building engines and put Robert into bearings when he started working there. So that's kind of how that works. So that'll be a good part of history to listen to.
Heck yeah.
Right.
And also I'm going to try to go ahead, maybe next week, I'm not sure. We're going to probably get Natalie Decker back in here, and maybe Derek, because he's racing now in their trucks, if they're one of their tracks. And so
is she not a team owner now?
Yes.
She is a team owner now.
Of Derek Lemke, so he drives for her. So yeah, and that's her boyfriend, coincidentally. Mm-hmm. So that worked out pretty good for them. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
And thanks for all the comments and questions.
Yep, there you go. And we will see y'all next Monday. So, and I'll keep on to the Racing Roots with Hamm Facebook page, and that's where you're going to find out all the info on who's going to be our next guest and all that good stuff. All right. But thanks to Rick Pennington. You got any parting words where people can get in touch with you?
I'm just getting off the grid.
You don't want anybody.
I'm doing good where I'm at.
Rick, signing out here.
I understand. Yeah. That's good. Well, if they want to, they can message Jeff, because they can.
Right.
He's working there.
If you can find my dirt road, you might find us. You know, we are in Cheryl's Ford there, Phil. We're your neighbor. Yeah, I know about the gun shop. You know, I know what this, it's yellow now, but it's
something called like the Bumblebee Realty or something. I used to love to see that big old gun shop, sign on the front.
Right. Well, we're not going to be country much longer.
No, we're not.
I'd really
man.
like to thank everybody here for having us two here again. And
Yeah, it was very nice to meet everybody. I had a great time.
Good.
And if you guys want to catch up to these guys on the road, just check on their Facebook link there that I put down for Big Red's Barbecue, and you can catch them on the road sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be having fun in Kansas City. I'll take care of the farm.
Yeah. Eat barbecue while you're talking racing.
That's right. All right. Thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all next Monday for Racing Roots with Ham. Good night.
Real Country 550 and 92.9 WAME Statesville. Real Country.
You know, now's the perfect time of year to